Hi guys, and welcome back to the Scrumpy Kiwi. It's been like 2 years, I think, since my last video, and it's been crazy. A lot's happened, and so I've decided now, sort of the beginning of 2017. Now's the time to really get back into doing sort of the channel, and trying to do perhaps a video at least once a week. Maybe two, if I can, but they're going to be short. But they're just going to be sort of, what I'm doing, what I've made, stuff like that. But I thought I'd tell you guys what I've been up to since my last video. So a lot's happened. I'm still gaming. I've still been gaming avidly. But basically, this is it's going to get a bit real, this video, because not last September, but the September before that, I actually had a mental breakdown, and I had a period of very severe depression. And I suppose the reason why I'm talking about this is because I don't feel for a start that there's enough people who feel that they can come out and talk about it. I feel there's quite a stigma about it. And I basically just wanted to sort of talk about it, and if there are other people out there going through it, to know that you're not alone. And that may sound a bit cheesy, but, I mean it. It's coming from a good place, because really, depression is something that I'd never experienced before. Not really, I'd known people who'd had it, but I was very guilty of thinking it was just being sad, when really it's a lot more than that. It's kind of like having everything that makes you sucked out of you, and just having this void inside you. And a lot of people go, "Oh, well, just get over it, and just pick yourself up or man up." Number of times I heard that was amazing, but it really is this terrible condition, or illness, and it really does rob a person of everything that makes them them. And it's really when you get to that point, when you get to that lowest point where everything is so dark and so black, and there is really no light at the end of the tunnel, where you just cannot face another day. Everything is so bleak. You're at the bottom of the hill and you just can't get back to the top. That's when you start thinking really dangerous thoughts. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I did self-harm. I did turn to alcohol. I was smoked at the time. I began smoking a lot more. I was kind of it wasn't intentional, but I was, from the outside, anyone on the outside looking in, I was on a self-destructive spiral. But I had my wife, I had my kids, I had, amazing friends who, picked me up and, really helped me. They took it at my speed, and they were just there for me. My GP, the NHS, the mental health services that helped out, fantastic, beyond belief. My family, my parents, they were absolutely brilliant. And so I guess really the thing is that if you are suffering with depression, if you're going through it, never feel afraid to ask for help. Don't, even if that's all you can say, just I need help. Just tell someone. Don't suffer alone, because while someone may not be able to directly help you, they're not going to be able to just fix it like that. Just having people there, like a network, like a support net, they can watch out for you. They can look after you when you can't look after yourself. And so if perhaps you are thinking of doing something, like hurting yourself, or taking your own life, which sadly is the outcome in a lot of cases, those people can sometimes be the ones that save your life. And so that happened to me. I never got to the point that I wanted to kill myself, but I certainly wasn't my own biggest fan. I felt very weak. I felt disgusting for being that weak. I was put on medication. Again, medication is kind of a sore subject. Some people think it's great, some people don't. I think the thing is, if you don't think it's great, or you do think it's great, just at the end of the day, do what makes you happy, or, do what you feel is right. And if you think you need that help, if you think you need to take medication for it, then do it. Don't worry about what anyone else thinks. It is, at the end of the day, it's about you getting better. And I have, like I say, I have no opinion on it either way. I took medication. I know people who took medication for depression, but I also know people who didn't. And I suppose it's kind of scary, actually, just thinking about it, how many people I know that have suffered with it. And people go, "Oh, well, depression, it's just, everyone says they're depressed nowadays." And I think maybe some people perhaps do have bad moments in their life and they perhaps do think it's depression. And I'm not saying they're wrong for, for misdiagnosing or what, if you want to call it that. But I do think some people perhaps sort of head towards it, but are able to get on track before it gets too bad. And there are some people who just, once it happens, that's it. It's kind of, it's lights out as far as them being able to function as a normal person, because depression is a mental state, it is a mental illness, it's recognized. And so that happened to me. I think that's where I was. I think that's where I got up to. Yeah, so that happened to me. So yeah, I had a mental breakdown. I suffered with depression. It was really bad, but I'm getting better again. I'm on the right track. As far as the hobby goes, I am still doing Lord of the Rings. I've actually just released for my sort of circle of friends the final edition of our own homebrew rule system, which is really cool. We've been working on it for about 3 years, sort of ironing out the kinks here and there, getting to the point where it's really sort of quite balanced. And we had the first game the night before last, I believe, where we played it, and it was really good. I lost, but I did concede victory, to my opponent, who'd helped me balance out the game over that time. So, and like I say, I had no problems with doing that because I'd had such great fun with the game, with that match. So yeah, so Lord of the Rings, our own homebrew rule system is out there. So that's grand. As far as 40k, I've been doing Space Marines, just Space Marines. I must have gone through God knows how many different ideas for different chapters, and the thoughts of doing my own, sort of starting my own Horus Heresy era Legion, like either the 2nd or the 11th Legion. I've got the Betrayal at Calth box set recently for Christmas, actually. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to those of you watching. And yeah, so Betrayal at Calth, I've got that. I'm making that up currently at the moment. I basically decided I'm going to do a Shattered Legion, because that way I can do Imperial Fists, Blood Angels, and Space Wolves, or Vilka Fenrika, technically, I suppose you should say. So yeah, I'm going to do those, and that way then I kind of get to play all my favourite legions, because I was finding that really difficult, deciding which legion I wanted to pick. And even now I've kind of picked those 3, I'm still like, but what about Night Lords? So it's never that simple. It's never like, oh, I've got 3 legions, now I'm happy. There's always one that I want to do, which I'm just like, no, I've got enough on my plate. So yeah, so there's that. I've started like 2 campaigns since my last video for Warhammer 40k, which have never actually properly finished, due to various reasons. I mean, it's partly my fault because I'm very bad at sort of keeping everyone on task. I start these things and then I sort of, they sort of fall by the wayside as we go along. But I'm sure at some point I will start a campaign and actually properly finish it, get it to a conclusion. As far as terrain stuff goes, making terrain and bits of pieces like that, which I've done on the channel kind of at the start. I actually, kind of going back to the depression, one of the great things that I found really helped me was making models and painting. It really sort of got me into a sort of a quite good space, and it gave me a reward, watching myself create this. So I decided, with sort of the encouragement of some of my friends, to sort of start a commission service. So I did that, which is called Atomic Terrain. You can find that on Facebook. I may put a link to it, but I'm not really I don't really want to turn the channel into promoting myself. I try to do enough of that on Facebook as it is. So I'm going to be this year perhaps looking at maybe doing a Kickstarter, or maybe going to the Prince Charles Trust, which helps sort of small businesses or people with ideas to get off the ground, which would be cool. But yeah, apart from that, really, I'm just sort of chugging along, doing what I'm doing, and I'm, like I said, I'm going to be keeping the channel updated. And I don't really suppose there's much else. This is kind of just an introductory video, but what else? Well, the hair's receding. That's one thing you probably noticed. I've got a bit more timber on me. I'm carrying a lot more weight, so maybe it will be as you see the videos go on, I get bigger or smaller. So who knows? That'll be sort of like have a little flipogram by the end of it, of me sort of shrinking in size or getting bigger again. Who knows? But yeah, no, I'm pretty happy about that. I don't really know what else there is. Me and my wife, we've got 2 kids. We had a kid in the space between my last video. So there's that, yeah. So yeah, that's sort of me. That's what I've been up to. That's sort of my 5 cents, or whatever you want to call it, whatever the saying is. And I'm just hoping, like I say, to turn get the channel back off the ground again. It's not going to be massive. It's not going to be as big as some of the greats out there, but it's going to be my little area on YouTube, and hopefully the little community can gather around it, who likes my stuff, and just leave comments. We can chat, talk whatever, fluff, lore, rules, models, terrain, whatever you want to talk about, and yeah, that would be really cool. Like I say, also big thank you also to the people who are watching, who are subscribing, who are commenting. Like I say, I know I've not been there to do videos responding, but thank you very much to everyone who has supported the channel along the way. It's really encouraging, and it's really nice to have this group of people who who like to see my stuff. It's sort of it lets me know that what I'm doing is worthwhile, maybe. I don't know. I don't really do it for other people's gratification. I do it for my own, but it just is a nice sense there of a community coming together. So yeah, thank you very much to everyone, and I guess that's it. I guess that's the end of the first video back, which is, what's the time? Ooh, just under 12 minutes. I went over. I said it was going to be about 5 minutes. Way more than that. Anyway, with no more further ado, I'm gonna go now and probably carry on making some stuff. But yeah, you guys, stay safe and have a great time hobbying, and I will catch you soon. Bye bye.